Alright, so we got one badass jumping son of a gun. Let's see if we can get somebody else in there to beat up. Alright. For this thing, we are going to use parents and childs in Game Maker, which is actually really convenient if you've got objects that are sharing resources. Sometimes, you just want to use scripts, functions where you're like, oh, I'm just copying this code over multiple objects. You can just do that. But in this case, we basically need two players that are going to act in almost the same way with some mild modifications. So we can use a parent object and have child objects that we'll actually put in the room. So how does that work? Well, I'm going to make an object. I'm going to call him OP1. And we can give him, we can put the idle can on it if you wanted to. And the parent of OP1 is going to be OPlayer. And then I'm going to duplicate OP1. And I'm going to call him OP2. And also the parent of OP2 is going to be the player. And this is a good time to make a group maybe. So I'm just going to call this group players and drag all these guys in there. Just because that clears up that makes things a little bit easier to overview for me, I guess. Now in the room we still have our parent object OP, so we don't need him anymore. Just get rid of him. And then we're going to put OP1 and OP2 in. So now we're going to just put the children of OPlayer in there. OP2. Alright, so we got player 1 on the left, player 2 on the right. OP1, OP2. Alright. So if we run the game now, none of these have any events or any actions, but if I do the move, both of them actually copy all the behavior, including tossing fireballs everywhere, from first player. I'm gonna reduce the audio a little bit because I don't want those Hadoukens to give me hearing damage. Yeah, that's loud enough already. Alright, so that's what's going on now. It's awesome. So we're gonna copy some stuff over to both of these guys, and if you're not a regular Windows user, you can just use the Windows key and the directional buttons to move these windows around the way I do. So I do Windows right, Windows down. Now that one goes down here. And here we go. So it's easier to put those things in there. So right, so all the step events we don't have to copy over. Now the create event, we want to set our own unique variables, right? So we're going to copy this thing, the entire event, and paste it in here. Oops, did I do copy? No, darn it, my bad. Don't. All right, copy event, paste event. All right, and over here paste event as well. Now you might think, oh, those unique variables, we need those, but those common variables, we can delete those, right? That's not exactly how it works with parents and children. The parents and children basically work like this. GameMaker will look at a parent, and if an event is copied, so if the create event is copied in the child, the entire code in the create event is swapped out. So it's nice that we have different actions set up here, but if we remove common variables, he will not use them from the OPlayer. There might be more information in OPlayer, but it will only, since we use the create event, it will only use the stuff that's in here. If we set up a step event, even if it's empty, it's going to stop using everything here. So what we want to do is we don't want to have anything in here that we don't want to create a step event here, because then we'll have to start copying over a lot of code. Now with these common variables, that's still alright. So typically, if you want to copy behavior, 90% of the time you only copy stuff from step events. But thankfully there are multiple step events, so you could do like begin step or end step, or even other events that run every step, like the draw functions. So you don't have to worry about that. But we are going to have to change these for all our players. So this is what it looks like for player 1, but we also have to do it for player 2. And these are going to be the controls for player 2. And I'm going to copy them over, and you can copy them from what you see on the screen. The button mapping for player 2. Alright. It's going to look like this. Excuse me. So I put some text in here as well. This object is a child of OPlayer. So just if you want the extra information. And the up button is going to be the numpad. It's going to be 5. Now if you don't have a numpad on your keyboard, you can just use different keys, I guess. But This is how it works for me. I have a numerical keyboard attached to my keyboard, like most keyboards actually do. But in 27 King Library, I'm not sure if they have numerical keyboards. So then you'll have to be creative about it. But um, I've got the numpad 5, 3, 2, 1 are for movement, and I'm using the insert button for the punch. And then here the codes are exactly the same. But we still have to copy these things over because else they will just not be there. So if I run the game now, and can I see? No, that's going to be too low. I'm just going to leave it with the webcam small anyway. But now I'm using the numpad insert, and I'm actually using player 2. And now I'm using player 1. So you should be able to control them separately. Alright? Alright, cool. So I don't think we need anything else from our player object, from our parent object, so we can get rid of that one. And we have player 1 and player 2 right here now. Pretty cool, right? So, okay, first thing we need to do now is to make sure that player 2 is facing player 1, obviously. Oh, actually, no. One thing I forgot. I think I want to put my player 1 window on top. If I don't, I'm going to make mistakes. So for the button mapping, this is different, the Hadouken. Because player 2 is always going to be facing player 1, so we want, it's not going to be B or CBE, it's going to be CDE, because you're going to want the fireball down left instead of down right. So the Hadouken is defined as CDE. And it's not aka down right, it's down left low punch. Alright. So that's all good, So what are we going to do next? Well, we're going to flip the sprite for player 2. So now we can actually add some extra code that does that. And this is very easy code, and you're going to use this in lots and lots of GameMaker games. So flip sprite, the way you do it is image x scale equals -1. That's all there is to it. And if you run the game now, you'll see that player 2 is flipped. There you go. And if we do the fireball, well, if we do the punch, he's punching in the right direction as well, of course. If we do the fireball, it came out of his backside. Oh yeah, of course, the fireball needs to be flipped too. So how do we take care of that? Well, we go to our player event, and here we're actually going to do a little check with a special move. And actually don't even have to do a check, because the X scale thing, the image X scale, is by default at 1. So we don't even have to set it. So all we're going to do is we're going to put our image X scale to owner.image X scale. Image X scale. So whoever the owner of the projectile is, if you remember this thing, so this basically says, oh wait, this is not going to work now, is it? Let me quickly check the code. I don't think this is going to work. Yeah, sorry. You don't have to put owner in here. This is just me being dumb. So projectile image X scale is going to be image X scale because the owner is running this entire freaking script. That's why we don't put owner.image object index in here. So the owner runs this script. So when we write image X scale, it's actually the image X scale of the owner. So if player 1 runs this is going to be 1. If player 2 runs this, it's going to be -1, because in the create script of player 2, we have image X scale is -1. So the X scale of our projectile is put at whatever that value is, and that will work. You can test it out by yourself. I'm not going to waste your time showing that this definitely works. And if it doesn't work later on, you can, laugh your ass off at me, all right? All right, cool. What else do we need that's going to be different between these guys? Well, I'm kind of happy with that. I think one of the goals, though, that we had was that we did not want player 1 and player 2 to be able to move past each other, because that will require some other things to program. So, I'm not going to take it that far, but if we move past, there's no way to get back at this point, because I want to keep the flip script as something you can do as an advanced goal. So to accommodate that, I'm gonna implement a step, because every step I want to check where my character is, and I don't want my character to be able to jump over the other one or to move past the other one. So I'm gonna check that every step, and if they are, I'm gonna move them back. That's basically what I'm going to do. Now, normally you would put that in a step event, but like I said earlier, since these are children of a parent with a step event, and we want to keep all the stuff from the parent in the step event in the children as well, we cannot use a step event anymore. So we're going to use an end step here. Okay? And the code that we're going to be putting in there for the invisible wall is going to be another code field, of course. So invisible wall. How do you implement invisible wall in a Street Fighter game? Well, basically, we push you back when you get too close, bruh. Alright. So, all we're doing is we're checking where your X value is. So, if your X value is, this is player 1, right? Yeah, so it's larger than O player 2's X value, minus, say, 25, because, you know, there's a sprite distance. We could calculate it exactly, but 25 is going to work, so why not? Then we're going to add some motion to you that will push you to F back. Alright, so motion at 180 because we want you to be pushed to the left. And with a speed of 25, so it's like really quick. Alright, and we're going to copy that little bit of code over to add event, step event, end event. Down here, except here we're going to do if it's smaller than P1 plus 25, we're gonna push you back to the right. Okay, so we're basically checking where the X values were, like I explained. It's exactly that, and then let's just see if this works or not. So where are my movement thingies? Here we are. So alright, I'm bumping into, look, and we're bouncing off each other. Boom, 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 boom. I don't remember exactly how this was in real Street Fighter. It's been a while, but and let's see if I can jump over you. Nope. So there's really this invisible wall. And the reason why I'm implementing this is because my, you know, Ultimate Hadouken X6 Turbo is more of a fireball Hadouken throwing exercise than anything else. So I don't want you to jump past me. It's all about the fireballs. Alright. Alright. So that's going to be it for this video. See you in the next one.